Tommy, have you ever wondered what the very safest cars in America are? Not the ones that are sort of kind of safe, but the ones that tick all the boxes.
Yeah, I absolutely have. And today we are taking a look at some of the exceptional standouts for safety in new cars today for 2020.
Yep, and we're going to go through these cars in alphabetical order because, well, that's the most fair way to do it. And keep in mind that these numbers come from the iihs Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. So they have crash tested these vehicles to come up with the ones that, well, you want to be in an accident.
Yeah, and they categorize them in a bunch of different categories, but what it boils down to is two big winners: the top safety picks and the top safety pick pluses. And for 2020, we have a number of top safety pick plus vehicles, and then, you know, your standard top safety picks. So the ones we're really excited about is the vehicles that get that little plus, and there's 23 of them for 2020. And we should explain that the top safety pick awards are constantly changing. So back when you were young, you basically had to have wooden wheels and not be powered by coal to win a top safety pick. But now there's a lot more to it.
When I was young, Tommy, you could get impaled by the steering wheel column and still be safe.
So to earn a top safety pick, there's a number of categories where you have to rank good, which is kind of the highest ranking. So this is on the front and the side crash tests, roof strength, and the head restraint tests. But now there's also a lot more advanced safety categories like emergency braking. But the one that's been very hard for manufacturers in recent years is the headlight test. And this is the big separation this year. To earn a top safety pick
plus,
the vehicle now has to have headlights that perform very well across the board. So
they have to be standard.
Yeah, it can't just be like one trim has a good headlight. All of them have to have the good headlights.
And at the end of this list, we're going to give you some standouts that are both good and bad, because there are two manufacturers, Tommy, that didn't make this list at all.
Yeah, so...
And I'm talking about not just the top safety pick plus, but even the top safety pick. All right, well, let's get started with A, and the first one on our list, of course, is actually a very popular car. It is the Acura RDX. It is Acura's best-selling model, and it was just redesigned, and it is also their safest model, according to the iihs.
It absolutely is. Now, this is a crossover. It's very well-sized. It competes with vehicles like the BMW X3, Audi Q5, and it's equipped with a number of engines. Once again, the big differentiator this year is headlights. It now has those crazy kind of jewel-like, they almost look like spider LED headlights.
Yeah, and apparently they're not just cool looking, but they also work. Now, going down the list, of course, we have Audi, and Audi made the list with one car. Can you guess what it is?
The S3.
No, it's not the S3. It's not the TTRS, which is one of my favorites. It is the Audi A6. Again, just redesigned, and it scored better on its headlight test than the A7, its coupe-like sibling. That's interesting.
It is really interesting. And once again, a vehicle recently redesigned, a lot of safety features built in, a lot of safety features standard, but I'd like to see more Audis, especially the volume cars, on this list.
Now, going down the list, of course, we get to Cadillac, and one Cadillac, only one made the list, Tommy. It's the XT6. What about that car?
Well, the XT6 is the three-row SUV that competes with the Lincoln Aviator. It was brand new recently, but they actually tweaked it. So it's specifically the vehicles built after October 2019 because GM has reinforced passenger side front door hinge pillar and A-pillar to improve crash protection. And they've also kind of tweaked the airbags. And it's only those ones that have been tweaked that are now getting the top safety pick plus award.
All right, Tommy, we have now worked our way down to Genesis, and there are actually two models that have made the list. The first one is the G70, and that's, of course, the one built after December 2019. Now, the thing about a lot of these is that they've been redesigned. So why did the Genesis G70 make it, and what other one in the Genesis lineup made the list?
Well, so basically what happened is they added the LED projectors on all models, including the base model 2 liters. So now all the G70s have the great headlights, as well as the Genesis G80.
And actually, we have video of it being crash tested, and I love watching cars getting crash tested because I feel like it's fun.
What?
Yeah, it's fun to watch a car because, look, no one's getting hurt. The car is being deformed in all kinds of cool ways, and it's done for a good cause. I mean, you know, that is no better entertainment than seeing no one get hurt in a car that's being crashed for a good cause.
And bringing down the price gap just a little bit, the next vehicle on our list is the Honda Insight.
Yeah, you know, that's an interesting car. It's stylistically interesting, I'm going to go with. I got to drive it a few years ago, and you know, it's one of those cars that I think looks a lot like your dad's old Buick.
Yeah, so this is a car that competes with the Toyota Prius. But the next vehicle is a lot of technology, the Hyundai Nexo. This is one of 2 pure electric cars on our list, but let's clarify, the Nexo is actually a hydrogen fuel cell vehicle.
Yeah, it's one of those really cool cars where all that comes out of the exhaust pipe, of course, is water, which is really cool. I did a review of it not too long ago, maybe about a year ago, and we're going to be going on a drive with the Nexo up PCH1 in a couple of months, so be sure to stay tuned for that video because I'm excited to try out the newest tech because I love the fact that it's a hydrogen car, and I'm hoping that at some point we can get them outside of California because the only place you can get them now is in California because there are no hydrogen stations anywhere.
Right. But the hydrogen tank, they actually told us they shot bullets at it, so you can guarantee that it's not going to explode in a crash, or at least that's the idea.
Can we do that too?
No.
Okay.
The next cars on our list are actually 2 Lexuses, so the Lexus ES and Lexus NX.
Yeah, of course, the ES is kind of the family sedan, and the NX is the smaller-ish, not the smallest, but the smaller crossover. Both of those cars are extremely luxurious, extremely well built, and I want to say somewhat boring.
Yeah, they're a little bit dull. The next cars on our list are actually 5 Mazdas.
Holy cow!
Yeah, which is very important, as you'll find out at the end. Mazda 3, Mazda 6, CX-5, with the optional front crash prevention, and the CX-3 are all top safety pick plus winners. So congratulations, Mazda. You did a great job making your cars very safe for 2020.
And we got video of them crashing, so we're going to have fun watching Mazdas crash as we talk about them. Now, Tommy, out of those Mazdas, which one would you get?
Definitely the CX-5. I think that's the best looking. There's now a diesel option. You just have to make sure you get that optional front crash prevention for the best score.
I love the Mazda 3 with that new redesign, especially in that candy apple red paint. Mazda does some of the incredible paint you've ever seen. And what's really astounding here is that Mazda made it on the list with all these cars, and yet they're a small company with limited funds because when you think about it, Mazda does not have a hybrid. They do not have an electric car. But they have very safe cars.
Yeah, good for them. I mean, they've really perfected a lot of the safety tech. Next up on our list is 2 Mercedes-Benz, so the C-Class, which is actually pretty old. It's interesting that made the list with optional front crash prevention. I'd love to see that standard. And then the Mercedes-Benz GLE, built after 2019.
You know, the GLE is Mercedes' tour de force of technology. It's a really advanced car. It's got a 48-volt system, so it's fuel efficient. And my favorite feature, of course, is the optional what are we going to call it? Hip-hop suspension, where it can bounce its way out of a sand dune.
Right.
It's pretty cool stuff. It's a car that Mercedes threw the kitchen sink at when it came to development. So if you've got one or if you're thinking about getting one, it's a good choice.
So Nissan only has one car on this list. It's their big sedan, the Maxima.
Yeah, the Maxima is an interesting vehicle, of course, because it's a front-wheel drive, large family sedan. And a lot of people would love that vehicle to be rear-wheel drive.
Right.
And, Nissan has this thing about, building cars that make logical sense but not emotional sense. And what I'm talking about is the fact that they put CVTs in a lot of their cars, which make logical fuel economy sense but not emotional sense. And the Maxima is kind of like that. I mean, that car should be rear-wheel drive. I would love to just feel it being pushed instead of being pulled.
Yep, that's right. And then we have a string of Subarus after Nissan. So the Crosstrek Hybrid, the Forester, the Legacy, the late model Outbacks built after October 2019, all scored very well on this list.
Yeah, once again, small company, with not a lot of engineering staff, at least not when you compare it to companies like, General Motors or Toyota, and yet there they are building, very safe cars that are meeting the iihs standard. So you have to give props to Subaru, and, Subaru's marketing line, of course, is built with love or driven with love or I don't know, have it with love any way you like it, but certainly love and safety seem to go hand in hand, so congratulations, Subaru.
Now, the next full electric on this list is the Tesla Model 3. This car, of course, comes with all sorts of safety tech, including autopilot, but it also performs very well in the crash tests. So congratulations, Tesla. I mean, it's great to see more electric cars finally make the Safety Pick Plus list.
Yeah, I'm expecting the Model Y to also make the top Safety Pick Plus. There is one last car on the list.
Yeah, it's the only Toyota on the list. It's the Toyota Camry. So interestingly enough, Toyota across the line now is including their Safety Sense 2.0 system, but the only car to make the list of the Plus models is, of course, the Camry.
Now, we have all the ones that made the top safety pick without the Plus right here. I think there's like a total of,
There's 43 of them, I think, 43.
Yeah, so in this video, I don't want to bore you with the entire list, so I'm just going to skip that part. And if you want to see it, go to TFL Car. It's on our website, and you can read the whole thing. But let's talk about the standouts. This is more interesting. First and foremost, Tommy, there are two companies that didn't make the list at all.
Yeah, so Chrysler and Mitsubishi, they're not around on the top safety pick or safety pick plus lists.
Fiat Chrysler. So I think we're looking at all the brands, right?
Yeah, Jeep, Ram, Chrysler,
exactly.
Dodge. Yep.
Yeah.
Some models, like the Ram 1500 Chrysler Pacifica, lost their top safety pick status because of the headlights. So once again, they're really cracking down on nighttime visibility.
And then there are other brands that made the safety pick, but not the top safety pick plus. We're looking at BMW, Ford, Lincoln, Volvo. Wow, that's a standout, dude. Volvo did not make a top safety pick plus award. What's going on there in Sweden, dudes?
And then for the vehicles that performed really well, Mazda. Mazda is the only automaker with 5 top safety pick pluses. New models like the CX-30 have not yet been rated, and the MX-5, of course, did not make the list. That's the Miata. But kind of the big standout here is the Hyundai Motor Group, who walked away with 14 awards in 3 brands.
Yeah, so obviously Hyundai, Kia, and Genesis, a lot of their cars are on this list, you know, for a long time, at least 2 of those brands have been known for building budget-level, entry-level cars, and yet here they are, some of the safest cars on the list, surpassing cars made by, you know, more known brands for safety like Volvo, and that is pretty incredible. Finally, Tommy, you know, every year this test gets tougher and tougher.
Yep, so it's always...
They're raising the bar.
Yeah, it's always evolving, and they're always making it harder for the manufacturers to meet, so we'll have to stay tuned as more and more vehicles get rated and see how they change it for 2021.
Yeah, and I think, you know, that's a good thing because, look, if you're going to put the most important thing in your life in the car, you want to make sure that if the worst happens, that person or animal is, you know, as safe as possibly can be. So I want to commend all the manufacturers that made the plus list. That's quite the engineering tour de force. And at the end of the day, you know, you can buy cars for a lot of reasons, but if there's a crash, there's only one that matters.
Absolutely. So guys, head over to tflcar.com. We've got the link in the description below to check out the full list. And stay tuned as we've got more crash test videos coming.
Ciao.